I have just heard that my cousin Grange Owen is in Rochester jail for ill treatment of his wife and family, his wife having made a legal complaint. He refuses to get bail or give bonds for his future good conduct. I am satisfied that his conduct is bad and insufferable. It is caused in part by his drinking rum. Calvin Owen, Penfield, New York.
Rum and whiskey were cheap and plentiful in the early 1800s. Many Americans considered it healthful and nutritious.
It's hard to exaggerate, really, the level of drinking in the early republic. It was a part of everybody's life. Women drank, children drank, men drank, everybody drank. Most of it was low-grade alcohol, but nevertheless, people drank an enormous amount, largely because the water wasn't any good. The water wasn't safe. And the only pure drink was something that you brewed.
Americans celebrated holidays with whiskey, brandies, and punches. They drank liquor to begin and end business negotiations. Workers often stopped at 11 and 4 o'clock for a shot of whiskey. Americans began drinking more whiskey than cider or punch. Drunkenness increased, causing widespread complaints about its association with violence, crime, and family neglect.
Temperance was a very important issue for women because it connected to domestic violence. Women experience alcohol and heavy alcohol use in men as a source of disruption and danger for them and for their children.
The story's often focused on what happened to the poor wife and child of this guy who got drunk and spent all his wages drinking and then maybe came home drunk and maybe even was violent toward his family.
Temperance means not using alcohol to excess. In a definitional way. What it meant socially was taking a pledge of total abstinence from alcohol, not letting a drop touch your lips.
Church groups and others formed temperance societies all across the country. Teetotalers swore to never drink alcohol again. Many women and young girls, the most likely victims of violent alcoholics, joined these societies and joined their rallies. The men usually permitted them only to listen rather than speak, but some women spoke out anyway.
One way to think of it is that women went public. They wouldn't have been seen on the streets, making speeches, organizing reform societies, or playing a very active role in the church, except as worshipers. But now women were assuming public voices, public roles. So we have female societies of all kinds, forming, meeting, distributing pamphlets, taking an active role in their communities, and they become extremely important in all the reform movements of the early 19th century.